Alright, so for this year, for our e-learning lesson, we're going to look at updating our resumes that we had from a year ago, and we're going to look at, we're going to talk about cover letters. And so that's really what we're going to have you do, is we're going to have you update your resumes and create cover letters. So, like I said a year ago, some of the things with resumes, it is a living document. So your resume, over the course of the year, has changed. And so for us to really use the resume that we had a year ago as our current resume would be false. Because over the course of years, especially you guys, you've developed new skills. You know, that's one of the nice things about schooling. You're always developing new skills. And so that we need to update our resumes to make sure it associates some of our new skills. In addition to, you've had lots of new experiences, and some of those experiences can help you become more employable and allow you to be better, more employable and a better worker. Okay. And over the course of the year, you may have had a new job, and so that's an example of something that you may need to update and to use along the way. And so resumes is something that you're always updating, and so it is a living document. And the one thing I'm going to highly recommend to this group of seniors, because if you're a second-year student here, you're generally a senior, your resume is something that I would save in a spot that you're going to have a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And so you at least have a template to be able to use and to go forth with when you're maybe looking at making your next career situation or decision, or you're looking at moving away from an entry-level job to more of a career. So that's kind of what's going on with those. So moving forward, so a cover letter. A cover letter is a document that goes with the resume. So when you are sending in a resume or applying for a job, some way you generally have a resume that corresponds with it. Okay. In modern times, you know, if you're mailing it in hard copy, it's a typed letter. Okay, so you're sending it in a typed letter to print it off. Well, with modern times, a lot of times you're using email. So, for example, when I came here to Impact, I used email to email Mr. Walmsley about it, and so my cover letter was actually my email. So, some of the purposes of the cover letter is it's an introduction. It's the introduction of you to a future possible employer. Okay, the cover letter tells your story more in detail, or more tells more of your story than what your resume does, because your resume is just a list. So it's more of a list about it, where the cover letter is more of a skill. It highlights your important skills. Okay, you know, for example, here, you know, with some of the important skills that I have is I have a public speaking skill. I'm able to speak in front of people. I have some tech savviness where I'm able to be able to use computers and some of the different softwares throughout to convey information and message to students. Those would be some important skills that I would need if I was going off to apply for this position, or to show as a teacher what I would be doing. Now, in your specific content area, you're going to have other important skills that you're going to need to have to convey. Now, the one thing that I'm going to tell you is that resumes have certain skills on them, but your cover letter should try to hit different skills. Okay. Every document, whether it be your cover letter, your resume, you need to tailor to your employer, okay, your possible new employer. And so you always are making modifications. And so the idea is that if you want to limit and try to sell yourself in that unique mindset, so they know that you're able to do that. Okay, and here's another great example of why cover letters are so important, is that it shows your written communication skills. It shows your ability to write, in proper English. And so that is one vitally important part that you need to convey, that you can write to your employer, because most places want to know that you can write. Okay? The other part with the purpose of a cover letter is that it's kind of you making an argument on why they should hire you. And so it's kind of an argumentative piece like you would find in an English class, but a little bit different of a twist, trying to convince them to hire you. Okay, so the first part, the introduction. So it's your very, very first paragraph. It's how it goes. So at the start of it, you're going to put Dear Mr. Something or Dear Mrs. Something. Okay, so you have an opening where you address the person you're writing to. Okay, so for example, when I came here, I addressed it to Mr. Walmsley, Dear Mr. Walmsley. Okay, what it's done is it sets the table. Okay, kind of sets the table and lays everything out for you when you are in that letter. So it creates the very first impression that you have with your possible employer, because in a lot of cases they may not know who you are, and so they have to have so it kind of lays it out there, saying, giving you a good first impression. Within your introduction paragraph, you want to tell them why you are writing them. So you're telling why you're writing them and trying to get them to read it in full sentences. Okay? You are then giving them a reason why you are a match to the position, why you are a good fit for them. Okay? Next, it establishes your contact information. Okay? Your contact information. Tell them your name, tell them a phone number, telling them, because if they're going to go contact you, you want to have them to have multiple ways for them to get a hold of you, or to find the information to get a hold of you so they can quickly get it done. Because it's kind of one of those things, and we go back to set the table, is if you ever noticed in your teachers, especially this time of year, their heads are running around like chickens without heads, okay? They're running around crazy, they don't know what's going on, and if you don't believe me, just watch Miss Roth run around. She's just crazy all over the place. Well, with the cover letter, you allow them to concentrate on one thing, set the table, give them the precise information that they need to get them reading and want them to continue reading, okay? It also establishes your ethos, right? And so that's very, very important, especially in some different fields where you've got to have an ethos. You've got to know what's going on. Okay? Your introduction paragraph is one paragraph. So you have one paragraph total on your introduction. Okay? So that's the first part. So the body of your letter, or the story of your letter, is a little bit different. Okay? Your resume, you have a list. Okay, in here you're using full sentences, and so it is written, it's full length, okay, much like you would find in an English paper, where here on this PowerPoint it's a list, okay. See, hopefully you can see a little bit of a difference, okay. You want to put in all important details needed for the position. So I have this skill, I have the skill of being able to make lists. So that may be a skill that is important for this career that I have, where you may not have one. It's just an example I'm using. But you want to be specific, explain how you got it and how you use it. Okay? You want the body of your letter, your cover letter, needs to be 1 to 3 paragraphs. Okay? Maybe 2. You want one paragraph to match each one of the skills. So if you want to talk about a new skill, okay, you want one paragraph. Now, one skill I'm going to tell you not to use is written communication, because written communication you are showing here in your cover letter. So each paragraph, one specific skill, talk about how you obtain it and how you've been able to use that in there. Some other things you don't need. Don't put in a bunch of information about you personally, okay? Don't need to know, you don't need to know how many kids you have. We don't need to know whether you're married, have a girlfriend, how many turtles you have. None of that information. Keep it all professional, nothing personal. You want to keep everything concise. You're not trying to make things flowery. So this is like one of the biggest changes that you may find that's different from how you've written most of the time in school. Schools taught you to be big and flowery, use lots of adjectives, where this is not. It's very concise, very precise, minimal adjectives. Only use adjectives if you need to. So that's your story in your body, okay? You got to remember on these type of documents, you are tailoring them to your readers, okay? So you're trying to change it, and you want your readers, you want it to be customized to them, okay? Even though you may be applying for the same job at two different places, the jobs are going to be a little bit different. The expectations are going to be a little bit different, okay? The skills that you would need for one job is going to be different than the skills you need for another job. And so you have to tailor. You got to change your skills. And so every time you send out a cover letter, you got to make some modifications. Every job has a different set of expectations along the way. And so those are some of the changes that you have to make throughout. Okay? The last section that you have after the body, okay, is the closing. And so really the cover letter is at most 5 paragraphs, okay? So you're going to create a reminder of why you are good for the job. You are going to kind of ask for an interview, ask for more contact, okay? The next part is in the closing, you want to put your contact information again. You want to sign it, and you want it to have 1 paragraph long. So it's going to be real short, and it's going to be to the point. Okay. Some other tips. Okay. Tips and reminders for a cover letter. 1 page, no more. Okay, no more. If they're going to have to flip it over, put another one, they're probably going to throw it in the trash. It's just too much. They don't have time. You want to use a 10 to 12 point font. Okay, so no teeny tiny font, no huge font. If they can't read it, they're going to throw it away. If it's so big that it blinds them, they're going to throw it away. You have some of the fonts that I would recommend is I write everything in Times New Roman in any type of document. So you want to use Times New Roman. If you don't want to use Times New Roman, you hate it for some reason, find a sans serif one. Okay, you don't know what sans serif is? You have this thing called Google. Google it. Pick one of those, use one of those fonts. They're easily readable, okay? And you want your audience to be able to read. Remember that your audience is a potential boss, and so there is some type of separation. You are not on the same level, okay? Can you be friendly? Yes, but you're not at that point yet. So you need to write to the fact that they are your boss. I would almost tell you, don't write it like you were writing to your teacher. Write it to like you were writing to your high school principal. That would be the way I would tell you to write it in simple terms. Remember, your audience is not a family or friend, so the mushy family, friendly type stuff, get rid of it, okay? Grammar counts, okay? If for example, if there are 50 job applicants and there are 10 good ones, okay? If 5 of them have bad grammar, going to throw them away. Now, doesn't matter enough, they're going in the trash. So grammar counts, okay? That's correct spelling, correct punctuation, capitalizing. I mean, when I see high schoolers write, the 2 things that just infuriate me is capitalization and punctuation. You can do it. Just put a capital letter, hit that shift key, hit that period. One thing I'm going to tell you, and something that I learned a little bit later on in my post-secondary education, and I'm going to tell you, any of you that are planning on going to post-secondary education, time to use contractions is over with. Don't use contractions, okay? So do not use them, okay? So they're bad. Remember that this is a letter. Follow a letter format. Go find a template online, on Google Docs, on Word Doc, Microsoft Word, WordPerfect, whatever software you're using, find a letter format, follow it, be done with it, move on. All right, good luck to you guys. Thank you.